Today's podcast is brought to you by our partners, 360 Players, the complete sports management platform. They work with some fantastic grassroots and professional clubs. To find out more, please click the link in the bio or scan the QR code. So, Gerard, thank you very much for being with us today. Really lucky to have you on the podcast. Tell us a little bit about your story and your position at Barcelona and your grassroots club as well.
Well, thank you for inviting me. I am currently working a methodology department for Football Club Barcelona. It's my 5th season there. And I have been related with football since I was 15 years old. I was coach. I was starting my career as a coach. And from my 5 years old, I have been player. And I still be playing now.
And you're playing in the the 4th division, or how does the...
Yeah, maybe a little bit more than 4th, because it's the first Catalan division, could be the 6th division if you start for the first Spanish division.
Okay. And I think it's wonderful to have someone with your experience from the professional side at the Barcelona Academy, but I'm also really looking forward to speaking with you because you also are a grassroots coach and director as well. Can you tell us a little bit about that club?
About Poble Sec?
Yeah, about Poble Sec.
Well, Poble Sec is a humble club. There are a lot of clubs in Barcelona like Poble Sec. We started a project more than 16 years ago. And the club was only with 54 players, near to disappear, because this club has really struggled with a lot of things. It's a humble part of Barcelona. The players or the families has not a lot of resources, and we work with them. We give it them. Always we try to do our best on the pitch in terms of training model, in terms of game model, and we give them care. It's a little bit tricky because I bring a lot of my college, and all of them now they are professional coaches.
Yes.
And it was during these 10 years they was involved in that club.
Sure.
And they helps us, the club, to become now the best club in this area, in the Barcelona area. From near to disappear, nowadays is a medium club with a lot of players and with a big structure.
And last time I was in Barcelona, I came to training, and we'll put a picture of the pitch on the podcast, but it's a wonderful location. It reminded me a bit of maybe Brazil or something like that, where you can see the city and you're right next to the Olympic Stadium on the hill, correct?
Yeah.
And
we are in the magic mountain of Montjuic. And here in Barcelona, there is a place where happens big things related with the sport.
Sure.
And of course, there are amazing views from the beach. It's amazing.
Yeah.
We always, because it's a public pitch is from Barcelona, from the government of Barcelona, and we also ask them more resources because the grass is not in the best conditions, or even we don't have the best changing rooms, and we believe that they should to help us a little bit more in that sense. But well, we still fighting and still growing up there.
Brilliant. So yesterday, Gerard, you very kindly invited us to Barcelona, to the academy, to La Masia, which is a dream for anyone working in youth development. Thank you for a wonderful day. We have many questions about your work and your colleagues' work at the club. If I could start with some questions, and thank you, audience, all of our Instagram audience, for sending in some questions. Could we talk about the philosophy of the club? What are the key principles at La Masia?
Well, I think that one thing it's making the difference between La Masia and the grassroots clubs, where all the players and obviously all the coaches or workers involved on Barca, all of them are really extra motivated in their job, and they are always really high self-demand of themselves, and this is a little bit, when you are in a grassroots club, you could expect less demand of yourself, or less less demanding. I think that this is a big misconception. Of course, when you are in a worse condition, you must be more demanding of yourself. For me, it's obvious things. I don't mean that in Barca you have not to be self-demand, but you saw normal coaches that in a grassroots coaches that they say, oh, only excuses, and oh, the players are really bad, or I am not in the best facilities, or I will do it when I am in a best club. And for me, this is a very big mistake from grassroots clubs, coaches.
And what advice could you give to grassroots coaches in terms of learning from the principles that you have at Barcelona? Is there, because a lot of grassroots coaches maybe are volunteers. I know in Spain it might be a bit different, but for example, in the UK or the US, most of the coaches are mum and dad that volunteer their time for their kids.
Here is a little bit the same in Spain. There are a lot of volunteers, but they need to have one license, a federation license, but they still are volunteers because their compensation are really low.
Yeah.
Then the profile of this kind of players, of coaches, sometimes they are really young. And if I would give it an advice, is if they want to be a coach, they have to be every day very self-demanding in what they are doing, whatever they do. And also, on the beginning, obviously try to copy. After the copy, try to learn, because they don't have to be afraid of mistakes, because it's part of the process. All the coaches needs a process to learn how to coach. And in that way, if they do this, they will learn about these mistakes. They will be better, and they can be a good coach when the opportunity of go, for example, to a pro team, they could be prepared to be there.
Sure. One of the questions we had, Gerard, was from Curva Joe. He asked, what is the key principle behind Barca's playing style? And I know yesterday you talked a lot about the pass. Could you summarize that for our audience, please?
As everybody knows, Barca model and game model and training model is very well known for everyone. Barca model take the pass as the way to decipher the game. For us, is for the players has a really big impact, because the players has to cooperate with themselves, and this create some positive interaction for them in the future, for that they can use in the future. Also, well, in that line, in terms of they won a lot of game understanding using this game model, because you need a lot of synchronization and between players and a very precision in game understanding to solve the problems the game offer, just using pass. Okay, this doesn't mean that obviously there are other talents in Barca, not only good passing players or with good game understanding. We gather different kind of talents. Could be good striker, good 1-by-1, good or the fastest one, or even with best resilience. All these talents, if they are in another team and they show to the scouts of Barca that they are really different than the others, we try to gather.
Right.
And with our process, with this pass, with this training process stimulate the pass, we try to connect all these talents to give them a order, and we teach them that their talent by themselves it's not enough.
Yeah.
They have to be able to put in a team to be a team and to could win in that moment. But for us, it's not important in that moment when they are young. For us, is when they goes to the first team and be a competitive team with handle these talents.
One thing you said yesterday that was really interesting was obviously the club attracts the world's best players, and your job in the academy and your other colleagues with the B team and into the first team. How do we make those best players into now like a team? And it's very interesting. You keep coming back to that point where talent needs to meet the team.
Yeah. Nowadays, there are no any winning team on these divisions and the top leagues that they are not be a team.
Yeah.
And for us, it's really important that our players growing in that mood, that when they arrive to the first team, they don't believe better than other teammate.
Sure.
They must understand that they had one talent, and if they are in cooperation and in good communication with the teammates, their talent will be better for everyone.
For everyone. John P. asked, how do you consistently develop players who stay calm under pressure, but also creative at the same time?
Look, this is a good question, because our players from U8, they play a lot of tournaments, and imagine a U8 player, but U12 player, they are play around 5-6 finals against Real Madrid already with the stadium crowd, the more than 500 person crowd. Wow. And when they arrive to U16, they I am already play a lot of games with high pressure, and if they are not stay calm, they could not be there. It's like another capacity. It's like a pass, or like a game understanding, or like running, or like they are preparing mentality all, because they are competing against this situation, this stressful for everyone, for them also, but they are normalized this situation. But also they are in their day by day. If you saw in a training session, they compete against themselves between the different players. If there are one striker, how you saw 1v1 in a U8, and it's like the same demand for the players that you saw in the first team.
Yes.
Even sometimes we have to say, hey, take it easy, because when they are U8, they are amazing. And then we have to say, hey, we are training, take it easy.
And that level improves the players. The best striker with the best defender, and then they take
the best talents when they are together on a training, they alimented themselves to be better.
Next topic, Gerard, if that's okay, and this is about coaching methods at the club. And a lot of the questions are around what you do. And I know your age group that you're responsible for is under 12s, so under 8 to under 12. Could you tell us about a typical session? If they're the same, more or less, under 8 to under 12, or what would a typical session look like at the academy?
Yeah, during all from U8 to B team, there are kind of exercise that we call DNA, transversal exercise, and all of them obviously are orientated to stimulate pass, this pass that we talked before. And it's very typical to make that progression using control pass. Is like a technical passing, where it's kind of exercise that without opponent, just movements, pass, control, and you can give depends the age, but in some age this exercise we use it for with one intention, and when they are growing up we use it with other intention. For example, control pass, obviously when they arrive U8 they need to develop these skills of this more technique of pass. Okay, even some of them when they arrive they are already had good technical with 8 years.
Sure.
They are amazing. Okay. But this makes sense, this exercise, when we use that exercise to improve these things, more technical aspects, the ball rolling on the grass, the control must be with the some concepts, the control must be with the first leg, the body shape, the concept of a scan. We also explain to the players about the synchronize the movements, all these things. Okay, but for example, this same exercise, when you use this same exercise for a player, U18 player, obviously he knows very well all these things, but we try to transmit in the other way that this love for pass is like you have to pass the ball, because in terms of mentality you need to be focused, because if you saw a typical warming drill from everyone, every club they use control pass. Okay, but sometimes you touch the ball like just for warming up. The ball sometimes is bouncing. You are not focused on what you are doing. Okay, and we try to avoid that and say to the players that this is not a warm-up. U18 players, okay? This is not a warm-up. This must be focused to every touch, be better, the best one. Every control must be the best one. And this is an example how we use one exercise with different intentions in the different moments of the process. But for example, a progression of this exercise for us is control pass, rondo, where you add one opponent and still to be appears a different condition of the game, because you add one opponent and the opponent condition all what happened on this game situation. And the last step for us is game position. We did it obviously when they are young. We use it less players, because with less players is less complexity also, and there are more interaction. The players has more interactions with the ball, and when they are growing, we use more players, and there are more players in a space.
Yes.
In that space,
Yeah.
It's a little bit difficult.
Yeah.
You have to be very accuracy, very precision on all your movements, on all your passes, to be successful on this kind of tasks.
So one of our audience, G Lang, asked about decision making and how you think about that at the under 12 age group. Is that one of the ways to do that, and how you can improve decision making with young players?
Yeah, for us, this kind of situations allows you, because game position at the end is an exercise where it's tactically solved. What I want to say with that You as a player have your positions very clear on the space, okay? And if you are in the middle, you are a little bit more difficult because if you're alone, no. But if there are another joker on the middle, depends of the structure of the game position, could be less or more easy, okay? But at the end, the idea of game position is to reduce the tactical complexity on a normal game, that you can decide a lot of things as a player, in order to give the players confidence to use this pass to solve situations. But in terms of game understanding, you could be okay, but it's not real because it's not like a real game. Okay, yes, they are really, but we have to understand that we are not only use this kind of exercise. After that, we always add a part of free game or small double area games, or medium games, 8 against 8, 7 against 7 for the older ones, or 3 against 3 with the kids. There are no problem for us. And in that moment, they learn other things than the transversal exercises.
So it can have multiple benefits.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Gerard. The next topic that we've had a lot of questions about is talent ID. There's a lot of interest about how the club let's focus on the under 12 age group, identify players. And yesterday you were kind enough to show us the scouting program that you have and network that you have. But you also said something very interesting about the qualities required to bring a new player into a team at Barca. Can you talk a little bit about how you guys think about that?
Yeah. Well, when they are U8, we need to recruit a new team, 2 new teams. Then the coaches of these ages make a lot of works with a scouting department. They are looking around Catalonia for, is what I explained before. Any talent, what makes very different on the game, and we try to gather this kind of talent, because this could be a misconception, okay? But because sometimes we hear it, the typical this player is not Barca DNA. We don't want to say it, but for me this is a misconception, because as I said, we cannot not only sing players who doing really good this passing and all the game understanding that is related with that concept. We try to bring other talents, and during that process we will give all the training sessions to stimulate that part of the game that for us is really important, but we keep this talent and add this part. We cannot add, we don't know how to add this talent without training, with our training. For that reason, it's really important not seeing only players with talented DNA Barca. Okay, of course we have some players that when you bring it, they know really well how to position in order to receive balls, to give to play one touch, to seems that they are 360, knowing about everything. Okay, but we not only need this kind of players, we need different kind of players, different talented players, and in every step of the process, they reach the level of this pass and game understanding. At the end, they became amazing players.
There's a lot of questions about late development, physical late development, and you gave a great example yesterday about the approach of the club, making sure each player's equally coached and has the equal kind of opportunity. and why you came to that decision was because in the past maybe you could have got it wrong.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about the importance of that philosophy or approach, the equality of how you try and develop all the players in the team?
Yeah, as we talked before, we talked yesterday. We have the case of one player that now is on a first team. That when they are U19, that 4 years ago, we start a project that there are some players that we believe that they reach the first team, and to give it some specific attention or training. And we discover, well, a few years later, there are no one player of that 5 players in the first team. There are another ones, and in that point we say, okay, we change it, the mentality. We are give it to everyone the same attention. We will work with them specifically, and also is because if you give it to these talented players that you think that they are best than the other ones, and you give it extra attention, they also could be a bad message for them, in order to what we are talking before, that they need to understand that they are a talented player,
yes,
but they are the same that the other ones, and they are use this talent on the team.
Very good. Okay, next topic, Gerard. And sorry, we're moving into different moments, but this is about coach education. And this is about a question from Gitch28. What qualities or characteristics should a coach working at the Barca Academy have? So when you're looking to recruit coaches and knowing your colleagues at the club, are there some general sort of qualities?
Being a coach
is
a really tough work. Not tough work, if not. I mean, I am always say the same. Not everyone could be a coach. Even we could be a good grassroots coach or a good professional coach, even with formation.
Yeah.
Even, okay? But I am watching one mental aspect is his capacity to lead. As you saw in a team, okay? It's an example because all the grassroots clubs here have they used to the players became coaches.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, in a few years,
mm-hmm.
they start coaching with 15 years old, and they are still playing in the club, but they take one U7 or U6.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and what I try to when I recruit one coach, I try to show if in his is a player has this leadership in a group, he could be a good coach.
Yeah.
Okay. For me, it's really important that, of course, after that, they have to want to be a coach, not only with leadership, but sometimes when they are good leaders, there are 1,000 forms to lead. Okay, and in a group there are if you can lead, not just talk, you can lead with your way to behavior in the team, but if the other team players respect you, you could be a good coach in the future.
Okay. We've only got time for one more question, so I'm trying to think about what the best question is. And I'm sorry to all the guys that have written in, and we haven't been able to get to all the questions. We had a lot about the special players, obviously, in Barca's history. And I know as someone that loves football, it must be incredible to work with these players. Can you tell us a little bit about the very best players at the club, and if there's anything unusual that we, as coaches, we wouldn't really expect to find out? Maybe about mindset or the way they train or...
Yeah. Well, I don't want that it sounds weird, but I am always say, okay, this has enough crazy to play in first division. When I saw one kid, okay, but I am not means crazy in terms of he's crazy, obviously, but you saw them, these special ones, and their conviction, their resilience, their capacity to learn, they day by day, their training sessions are like crazy.
Yeah.
For me, it's crazy because anyone normal can do that. Because you if you are normal, you need to rest a little bit, just to regulate. But these kids are
obsessed.
Obsessed.
Yeah.
Near to obsessed.
Yeah.
Near to obsessed.
Yeah.
And they used to be the players who reach and who break all the, even if in that moment they are not the skillest one or the tallest one but they are obsessed. And if you saw them, you could. Oh, for me, this is one of the indicators that they will break that model.
Brilliant. Well, Gerard, thank you very much for the podcast. It's been great having you on. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks.